Can you tell us a little bit about lineage-based yoga?
In the yogic tradition, this is called parampara. Parampara means a lineage whereby the essential teachings and qualities of yoga are given from teacher to student, who eventually masters that and then is able to communicate that onwards. And this is a very important part. I alluded to this before when I talked briefly about my teacher and teachers that I've had. Any system that does not have that connection with a living, vibrant tradition is truncated. I mean, it's missing something. It's lacking depth. As I said before, you can't read it in a book. It's not infotech. Yoga is not information. Yoga is living experience. You have to embody it and you have to live it. And that doesn't come just through words. If it did, it'd be all so easy. But have a look around. The world is filled with words, and most of them have no meaning and are vacuous, don't communicate anything at all. But when a word, which is a language, is embodied with a kind of energy, then those words have power. And you've probably met people who spruik all kinds of things, and the words have no meaning. And maybe you've met someone who says perhaps very little, maybe just a word or two, but there's so much meaning in that. That's because that person carries power, and that power is communicated through their communication, through their language. So I think the parampara, or the lineage, is very important because those are people who've lived the tradition, who embody it completely. And when you interface with them, you actually begin to feel that coming from them. You get a taste of that. And I remember the first time I met my teacher, who was in an airport in Miami, Florida, a long time ago. And I saw this guy walk off the airplane. I'd heard about him. And I went to the airport to meet him. And it was a very old airplane, had two propeller engines on it, like some of the local airplanes that you fly to places like Port Lincoln from Adelaide. And he got off. There wasn't even a bridge there to walk through. He got off the airplane and climbed down the steps. And I was amazed when I saw this guy climb down the steps of this airplane. I'd never seen anyone like that before. The way he moved completely unconsciously or in an unpostured way was amazing. This guy just moved with a kind of lightness and a joyfulness. And then when he started to walk across the tarmac, his arms just naturally started swinging. He didn't have any tension anywhere in his being at all. He had this quality of like a childlike freeness about him. And he was 71 years old at the time, 70 years old. And I was blown away. I thought, wow, who is this guy that, it's so obvious just the way he moves, not even hearing a word from him yet, just the way he is, the way he lives, has a kind of freeness about it. And so then he sat down, and I sat down in the foyer of the airport and said a few words, and I thought, I want what he's got. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I want what he's got because he's got something. And so I started to study with him. He was gracious enough to accept me as a student. And I spent as long as I could with him until he passed away. But in the interim period, that association, that friendship and that association, that relationship of teacher and student gave me so much. I don't know if I ever gave him anything, but he gave me a lot. And so today, what we try to do is we try to give what we were given.